And we are good to go. Yay. Wonderful. Welcome back, everyone. We are so excited. I am excited that I get the honor of being here together with Vanessa, talking about these are my people. So I am Liz Lemke. I will be helping navigate today in the polls and then in the chat, as well as the Q&A. And any questions, keep it lively, people. You know how this works. And we are so excited to turn the plate over to you, wonderful Vanessa.
Thanks, Liz. Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning into my session today. I'm Vanessa. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm a training specialist at Rakuten Kobo. Great people who do great things with ebooks and etc. etc. And today I want to talk to you about the importance of finding your people in L&D and build a sense of belonging and having great discussions with people without being too awkward. So we're gonna discuss that today. And actually, you did kind of like the first step today and yesterday as well by coming to this awesome conference. So let's dive into it. And first thing first, I'm gonna put you to work. And as you can see, there's a poll, and you're gonna have two questions. The first one is, have you ever felt lonely in your L&D job? And the second is, ever gone to a networking event and felt a little bit uncomfortable because you were on your own and you didn't know anyone? I want to know everything, so yeah, get polling.
Get polling. All right, we have a couple of votes thus far. Love it. Okay, log those answers in. It's like the fun part of statistics is when they come in like real time.
Exactly. Where's this gonna go? You know, are you going to learn something today, or are you like, seasoned and yeah, amazing.
I love it. Okay, folks, remember to answer both questions because we have 5 votes on the loneliness. Now we got more, and we have 9 votes on the other one. So, a couple of you, please answer both. All right. Okay. There's a very clear direction on one.
Okay.
Okay. So, have you ever felt lonely in your L&D job? So we have the votes logged in at 62% with a yes, 37% with a no. For the question, have you ever gone to a networking event and felt uncomfortable because you were on your own? All 100% of the answers say yes.
All right, thanks, Liz. Okay, lovely people, you're not alone.
Yeah.
I've been there. I know it felt, and that's kind of why I'm here today. So thank you for sharing. We're going to discuss that, and I'm going to give you a little bit of tips to overcome this feeling of loneliness. And for next time you go to a networking event, you're going to feel less uncomfortable, a bit more at ease with the environment. So, but first of all, I want to give you a quick story about my very first networking experience. That's real life footage of how it felt for me. So the year was 2018. I was just starting my first L&D job. I was in HR coordination before that. And I went to a conference in the UK from the CIPD, which is the chartered body of HR over there. And, ready to go, that's great. And I knew absolutely no one. And literally when my lunch experience was this lunch experience, and I call it kind of the high school experience, the high school metaphor. You literally, I didn't know anyone. I felt very uncomfortable, going to people and say, hey, this session was awesome, and what are you doing? It wasn't natural for me. So I pretty much spent the day going from session to session, and the only person who actually talked to me were the vendors. So as far as the first networking experience go, that wasn't like the best. So I kind of want you to avoid that. So This is why we're doing this today. And here we go. So right now, I'm going to give you a few tips to overcome this and this feeling of loneliness. Maybe you are in. Sorry, let me do it again. You are in L&D for the first time, or you are doing this whole networking thing for the first time, and I have no clue what I'm doing. So first thing first, the thing is finding your spark. What I mean by that is what do you love the most in learning and development? What's your niche? What's your thing that you could talk about like for hours, or you could read about for hours? Mine is onboarding new starters and also developing new managers. I love it. I love reading about it. I love sharing stuff online about it. We're gonna go into it in a sec. So really find what makes you, make your eyes pop when you talk about L&D. And actually, I would love to hear what's your spark is. So if you can put it in a chat, what's your niche? What do you love to do? And lovely Liz can let me know.
I love it. So I love onboarding too. Well-being is another one.
Yeah.
Developing emerging leaders. Love it.
Yeah.
I love, personally, this is me, I love empowering talents to become facilitators.
Amazing.
Laura says, I love tech training.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a great one. Wow. That's amazing.
Really?
Thanks for sharing, people. So so most of you have your thing and your spark, and that's really the first step. So now that you have your spark, start small. It can feel a bit daunting, to go into like, I have my spark and I want everyone to know and I want to share and etc. etc. So start small, start immediate. So the first thing I would say is if you have colleagues, if you're in the department, share with your immediate colleagues. Share, maybe you're an L&D manager and you have an L&D coordinator. Share with them. We don't care about, the hierarchy and the structure. If you have, with your boss, share with your boss as well. Or if you are talking to someone else, another L&D person, another department, or another business unit, etc., etc., share with them musings, ideas, stuff you read in a publication. Do that. If you don't have any immediate colleagues, if you are on your own little island of L&D, you can share with people managers. And the reason why I say people managers is because they do care about people development, because they're people manager. They do care about their own staff development. So they're going to be a bit more receptive to what you're going to find or where you're going to share. They're a good audience. As a whole, never underestimate your colleagues in general. And right now I'm talking to people who are employed, who are in a company. That's my main audience. So for you, your people managers or your immediate colleagues, you can share with them. Don't worry, if you don't have these kind of people, we can find other things. If you don't have, your people, or if you already shared with your people in your team or in your company, etc., think social media. And especially for us in a professional setting, when we talk social media, we're like, oh yeah, of course, LinkedIn, and I'm going to share my great achievement, and that's all. But Twitter actually is an underrated networking tool, and it's a great learning tool as well. And on Twitter, there are a few hashtags that you can follow. I put an example on there. So there's LD Insight, which is a hashtag where every Friday there's a question around L&D or organization development. Every Friday, 8 a.m. GMT. And that's how people connect, they answer the question and there's great discussion happening. And that personally, that really helped me finding my people and forging great connection with people I wouldn't have talked to otherwise. The second one is people skill. I hope, I was looking if it's big enough, but it's called People Skill Chat, and it's every Sunday afternoon GMT. So I think it's going to be on a Sunday morning for you lovely people in America. And it's more soft skills based, and as the name says, more people skills based. But it's the same kind of discussion. There's a question asked, and a lot of people answer, and it sparks amazing discussions. So that's the main one that I use, and it really helps me in my work as well, because you can grab a few ideas that you haven't talked about, you haven't thought about, and you meet very interesting people. So again, I'm gonna ask you to do a little bit of work here, and tell me in the chat if you think of hashtags that you've been using, or of a form of social media that you've been using or you're thinking of using. And Liz can tell me what's happening as well.
Sorry, fail. I was on mute. It had to happen to someone. Why not the host?
It's fine. Okay.
I love it. We are the honeycomb. Awesome. That is the L&D Cares hashtag. Wonderful. I like the IO Psych memes. That is a good one. Yes. What else? Learning Mavens is one.
Oh, nice.
There's also the broad ones, HR community, Punk HR. Those are some great ones.
Oh, I didn't know Punk HR.
Yeah.
Okay. I also follow HR Hour, which is
HR Hour is really great. That's a good point.
Yeah.
HR Hour. Okay. I love it. And then there's one other thing, you can put those on, and you can also see some threads and lists that you can get recommendations, and those are also really great. Yeah,
you're right, Liz. And you have like your list of people and like some people to follow in L&D. It's always great to have that. Definitely. I also put on there as well which conference do you recommend, but if you have any idea, like put them in the chat, and I will have a little look later as well.
I love it. One more that we got in is LND Chat. That's a great one too.
Oh, I didn't know LND Chat. You know what? I'm writing them at the same time because I haven't heard of a lot of them. And I'm like,
I love it. Exactly.
I'm going to come and I'm going to have a chat next time it's on. Amazing. Thank you so much for this, lovely people.
And then in terms of conferences, I hope we're going to have one.
You don't have any.
Exactly. WIDA.
Great. WIDA is great. It's such a lovely community as well of people. So
couldn't agree more. And the L&D Cares Career Growth Summit. Shameless plug. We're going to be here also in September. Woohoo!
Yay!
ATD also has some great conferences. Very true. Very
true.
True.
Yeah. ATD is such a great resource as well for people. Definitely.
Learning 2021, great one. Dev Learn. Yep. Great examples. I4PL.
Okay. Wow. It's funny. I'm doing this presentation, but I'm learning way more than I thought I would.
See, this is beautiful. Like I said, it's amazing in terms of what we can learn from each other. This is the wealth. That happens.
Exactly.
I love it. Oh, and then we got for our Canadians a little bit of a plug from David. That's awesome. The Canadian e-learning conference. And yes, there's always more to learn. I love it.
Definitely. Thank you so much for sharing this. Like I'm taking notes like crazy at the same time. And I'm going to check it out. Definitely. Yeah. All right. So we're going to recap. So what should we do to prep and feel a bit more at ease with this whole networking thing? find your spark, which most of you have, so we're good. Start small with someone close, someone in your immediate entourage at work, if you can, and follow a hashtag on social media. And we have a lot of examples, and I think a lot of people already do that. So you're all good to go, basically. So once the prep is done, like you have everything, the main event, how to engage without being so awkward. I mean, if you, like me, for example, I told you a little bit earlier, this whole idea of going into this conference and not knowing how to talk to anyone was so daunting. So I really want to avoid that for you. So how do we engage without, being awkward? Super easy. Just share. Super easy. Yes, just share. I'm talking mainly about online here, when you have these hashtags, etc., and you're reading like, oh, that sounds very interesting. Ask questions, reply to the questions, retweet, share. Sharing with people is very powerful, and it goes two ways, because you learn and you contribute to expanding the platform of the person who's sharing in the first place. And then they're gonna know your name, and they're gonna share your stuff as well, and they're gonna engage with you. And it's gonna be way more natural than just barging and say, hey, this is what I've done, can you share it for me? No, always goes two ways. So yeah, just share, or just say, hey, that sounds very interesting, thank you for sharing this, etc., etc. Again, think small. You don't have to do War and Peace, or have like the most brilliant idea in the world to be in this space. Just start small, ask questions. If you're on Twitter, just retweet. If you're on LinkedIn, reshare, and it will trickle down, and it will happen. The other thing as well, if you are brave enough, I would say, or if you really want to, is your ideas matter. Wherever you are in the L&D space, wherever you just started yesterday, or you started 20 years ago, or you're a coordinator, or you're a manager, or you're an independent, any idea that you have, it matters. So share them. And you can blog them too. Blogging is cool. It's still cool. Don't believe what people say, like it's on Instagram or whatever. No. Blogging is great. It's a great way to learn. It's a great way to engage with people. It's a great way to generate new ideas. So if you want to do it, blog it. And I'm going to show you the results of that. So I went from this famous CIPD L&D show, and I put that on LinkedIn at the time. As you can see from here, not a lot of engagement, and I was on my own. So I went from that 2018, and then I started to actually be more active online and participate into these communities, etc., etc. And a few years later, I actually end up participating in a conversation around onboarding and employee branding. And I was quoted on the article, and it was a great conversation. And I made good connections. Like the people there they have like a wealth of knowledge, and they're very amazing. And I was super happy to be in such good company. So see, it happens, by doing this thing, by engaging with people, little bit there and there, like taking small steps. I ended up having a solid like networking group. And I mean, at the moment, there's not a lot of in-person conferences, but when it's actually safe to do so, I know that if I go back to this CIPD show conference, I know that I will see people that I know, and I will have a cup of coffee with them, and I won't be alone. So yes, my advice on here is keep going. Your network might expand, step by step. It's going to be very small increments. You're not going to have like a big platform overnight, but just don't give up. Keep going, keep sharing. Keep sharing your ideas, and it will happen, I promise. So, real quick, because I think I'm going a bit over. Your checklist now to be less awkward and really enjoy the networking experiences. Ask questions every time. Share other people's work. Share your own ideas as well. And keep going. Be consistent. Remember, smaller every day is better than big overnight and then nothing. And my parting thought on this is everybody's experience in L&D is valuable. Anything that you have in your mind is valuable and it's worth sharing. And that's all for me. And I didn't go over too much, so yay. Thank you very much for listening to me. And if we have any question, Liz, over to you.
Absolutely. Awesome. No, you're really great on time. That was so good. Thank you so much, Vanessa. I think, this aspect of how do you create the community around you in which you learn and you can thrive. So wonderful tips so that you're not sitting at that table. Great session. So any questions? Not quite yet, but please put those questions right in. One thing that I also, you mentioned, which I think is really good, is the aspect of being consistent. Asking questions is also one. One of my friends, he asked 3/4 questions, just like you did here with the poll, and it gets us thinking and gets us engaged. So that's a great one. Wow.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, definitely. Just keep engaging with people and keep asking the questions, and it will happen for you. Something that I forgot to mention, but I'm going to mention now, is once you found your community, it's not a fixed event.
Yeah.
You can, if it doesn't feel right, it's okay to take a step back and try to find another community. And it's all about sharing your passions, but it's also about finding your group of people who are gonna share your values as well. Because if your values don't align, you're not gonna feel quite right. So yeah, and it's not fixed, and you can pick and choose your communities. You can be in different communities as well. So yeah, just try it out.
Vanessa, I can't tell you what a helpful tip that is. I think that is so brilliant. People feel like, at least in terms of the sessions I've been of I need to belong to these large domain communities and make iSpace there, even if they don't feel comfortable there. So you're absolutely right. Find your tribe, find your folks where you feel like, okay, this is where I can bring myself in terms of the valuable contribution, and where the sense of, and that's why I liked you, where you said the sense of belonging of, we like to say Amy Poehler said, find a group of people who challenge you and excite you, and then hang out with them, and your life will never be will never be the same again. I'll find the quote and I'll put it in there. But I love it.
Yeah, that's a great sentiment. Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Liz.
Perfect. All right. Okay. So what about this for a quick resource guide? Awesome. Oh my goodness, man. Okay. Perfect, Marilla. So perfect there. Someone has already started a Google Doc. I love it. For a quick guide for social media groups and hashtags.
Yay.
Yay. Thank you.
What we were talking about. It's amazing.
Yeah, love this community.
Exactly. Thank you so much, people. I hope you found it valuable. And if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn or have a bit of a chat, at one of the virtual roundtable, let me know, and I'm super happy to hang out.
Brilliant. I love it. Thank you so much, and congratulations, Vanessa. And I can't wait for one of these days when we get to meet up, and then we can have some French butter and some French cheese together.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Totally taking you up on that.
Perfect. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.